Germany, in coordination with the European Union and NATO, should transfer tanks to Ukraine. The head of the Bundestag Foreign Affairs Committee and an expert on foreign policy of the Social Democratic Party, Michael Roth, said this commenting on Olaf Scholz's statement that Berlin refuses to transfer tanks to Ukraine independently. The decision to supply tanks should be taken only in close consultation with allies, Deutschlandfunk reported. Michael Roth believes that the EU, NATO and the USA should be involved in the issue of transferring tanks and think how to increase military aid to Ukraine to liberate the occupied territories. The politician believes that only if Ukraine wins, it is possible to make Putin sit down at the negotiating table. Also, Germany transferred to Ukraine 4 more Gepard self-propelled anti-aircraft artillery guns. Before that, the Ukrainian side received 20 units of this equipment. On the morning of February 24, Russian Federation troops, following Vladimir Putin's orders, launched a new invasion of Ukraine in several directions at once. However, the blitzkrieg failed and the AFU managed to contain and push back the enemy, destroying already about 53,000 personnel and a huge amount of military equipment since the beginning of the invasion. As a result, Russian forces began bombing and shelling residential areas in order to sow panic and intimidate Ukrainians. Russian forces hastily left the northern regions of Ukraine and, after partially manning up, were redeployed to the Donbass and near Kharkiv. Over time, the AFU launched a counteroffensive in the Kharkiv direction, pushing Russian forces back to the border. In response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Europe, North America, and the Pacific imposed the most extensive and harsh sanctions in history on Moscow. At this point we have seen a turning point in this war. Ukraine may end the war by the end of this year or the first half of next year. It seems to me that if there is no black swan of some kind, by the summer of 2023 Ukraine will return to its legitimate 1991 borders.